Search for Morrinsville shooting suspect Rollie Heke is now a nationwide manhunt. Mr Heke has eluded police for nearly a year after cutting off his electronic monitoring bracelet last September, as first revealed on Checkpoint last night. On Sunday morning, the 36-year-old traded shots with police after a car he was in was pulled over on the outskirts of Morrinsville. A 4-hour siege at a house in the town on Monday failed to find any trace of him. The officer in charge of the now countrywide search is Detective Superintendent Chris Page. DS Page, are you there?
Yes, I am, John. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Lovely to talk to you. Do you have any idea where he is, or has he just disappeared without trace?
Well, look, what I can say is we're reasonably confident that he is with some associates within probably the North Island. The investigation has developed a sense that he's not in the Morrinsville area. But, you know, a word of caution, that doesn't mean anyone can be any less vigilant than they were. So because we believe that he's anywhere in the North Island, we've decided to coordinate the search for him nationally.
OK. I was interested in the comments you made at the media conference you had in Hamilton this afternoon, which is that if you are harbouring this man, he poses two risks to you. One is that it is a criminal offence to harbour somebody who is on the run, and the other is that he can be unpredictable in his dealings with people. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, what the investigation team has established is that in the past he has been unpredictable and violent towards people close to him. So, given that he may well consider himself under siege or at a high level of attention, and he is a high level of attention, he may be at an elevated risk of unpredictability. So people around him need to be careful on two counts, as I say. One, about their own personal safety, and it's important that we end this without anyone else getting hurt. That's really important. That's the primary goal here. But the second part is, if they continue to assist him, they will be liable to some criminal charges.
He's been on the run since he cut off his electronic monitoring bracelet in September of last year. Have you any idea where he's been in that time? Have you been speaking to people who say, yes, he was here in February or whatever?
Well, the inquiry team will continue to develop that picture, and I think it's reflective of many of these cases that we've dealt with in the past. Our experience is that once they become a really high-profile person and risk in their own right, people will feel much more comfortable coming forward. And, of course, when they do come forward, we treat that information confidentially, so we encourage people to do that on this occasion.
OK. What bracelet was he wearing last September? Do you know?
Look, I don't know the detail about that, but, it's suffice to say he was wearing a bracelet and he took it off and took off. So for us, that's an elevated risk, and we spent some time trying to find them, and included in that was getting them onto the Police 10-7 program. But
OK, so that was Police 10-7 was March. So you actually did look for him in the period after the bracelet came off. After
September, absolutely. I mean, he's a person that we need to make sure complies with the law and his requirements in relation to his electronic bail.
His mum has come out and said, look, please turn yourself in, because once you start firing at police officers, there is a real risk that they're going to fire back and that something terrible will happen. Are you using her, and I don't mean that in a pejorative sense, to try and communicate with him?
We're working pretty closely with the family as we can through the inquiry, and we'll continue to increase that level of interaction. But, Mum's advice was sage advice from her mother, stop this silliness. Get in touch with us. It's easy. Just get in touch with us and we can make sure no one else gets hurt.
Detective Superintendent Chris Page, who is now in charge of the nationwide investigation, as announced this afternoon.